Good morning and welcome to Good Morning Anambra. This morning, my name is Ifi Onachukwu.
My name is Obi, and of course, this is the discussion segment of the Good Morning Anambra.
Yes.
For the break, I told them that we've got the SSG talking about Professor Chukwu. In fact, before now, he was already, dishing out some advice to a young man like me. But we wouldn't want to give you details about that. I want you to think about what he was telling me. All right. So, but we've got to.
How would they know what he was telling you? That's a story for another day. But quickly, you remember that next Saturday is actually the 8th of November. And what's happening in Anambra State? That's when we're going to elect a new governor for the state, and it's all for the best. But today we are asking a question. What question are we asking? We are asking, what should we look out for while voting on Saturday? And that's why we brought His Honor, the Secretary to the State Government, Professor Chukwu, Solo Chukwu Lobelo. You're welcome to the program, sir.
Good morning, ma. Good morning, ma.
All right, on the mouth of every Anambra now is the upcoming election. And the next question after talking about November 8th is, what are we really looking out for? What is it that we should look out for in any leader that we want to vote for?
Okay.
So why shouldn't the Anambra be careful about people that they want to vote for on the 8th?
Thank you, madam. Let me just make a slight correction. On November 8th, Anambra is not voting a new governor. Okay? Anambra is, because the incumbent governor can still govern for another 4 years. So November 8th, Anambra will be renewing the mandate of Mr. Governor to carry on for the next 4 years.
And that renewing, there's a new there, so
yeah,
it's coming out.
In other words, he's already there. And I think it's very, people normally say, the difference is clear, as it were. Mr. Governor, Professor Charles Chukwumasulu, the CFR, have been in the saddle now for 3 years and 8 months. The remaining 4 months is the transition period after the election, as it were. So he's done, and in those 3 years and 8 months, he's done exceptionally well. I think every person, it's not because I'm SAG or DG campaign. And to be able to understand this, go back to March 2021 or 2022 when he was sworn in on March 17th, how the state was. The state was, if you like, in this sense of despondency, decay in many areas. There were, there was, if you like, insecurity, essentially in 7 local governments in the south plus Obaru in the north. But that insecurity had also permeated the rest of the state, okay, even here in Oka. But what I'm trying to say is that if you look at, where he has taken the state from in those 3 years and 8 months, from where we are in March 2022 to where we are now, you see a completely new state transformed.
Okay, we'll talk about the transformation of the state. But
and that is why I'm saying, you're asking me on the 8th, what people will be looking for? They will be looking for performance. Other people are saying, we will do this, we will do this, we will do this. This man has done it. Even what they're saying they will do, he's already done, and he's setting the agenda for the next 4 years. So what the Anambra should be looking for, you look at who are his opponents. Who are his opponents? That's the choice. Choices are normally between different options. Okay, you have Professor Charles Chukwumasulu there. You have Evangelist Okachukwu. You have Moalo, and perhaps others. The choice is between these. Yesterday they signed the peace accord. There were 16 of them. That what the Anambra will be looking on the 8th of November. Who among these contenders or contestants is the one most suitable to take Anambra to the next level in the next 4 years. That's the choice.
Okay.
That is the choice.
Yes.
All right. Let's look at credibility check, involvement of the INEC, and a whole lot of things. Now, INEC promised beavers and IRM again.
Yes.
I remember Anambra State, one of the first states who have conducted elections where the beavers.
It was the first state to conduct an election with beavers.
So what are we looking to see this time, especially looking at the 2023 elections and also looking at the recent elections especially in the southwestern part of the country, Old Bloods, where there were questions again about integrity of the elections. So what are we looking to see?
We're looking to see an umpire that has improved on his processes, operations and the rest of that. And I must say, INEC has been improving. We are looking for an umpire who has thought through all the processes. They knew where the glitches were before, and we are very optimistic that they have fixed those glitches. No stories. And fortunately, we have a new INEC chairman who is determined to get it right. He was there yesterday at the signing of the National Peace Accord among the, and his statement was, his speech was very, reassuring. So, yes, there will be, like in anything that is done by man, there might be some issues here and there, but they must fix it. And we are confident, I'm confident from what we've seen, that INEC is going to get it right, that they have done, what we want them to do is to supervise, an umpire, supervise a credible, transparent, fair election. We cast the votes, Anambra voters cast their vote at the polling units, they count it, they record it, they announce it. At the glare of every person. Even at the polling unit level, when they're doing this thing, collation, counting, and the rest of that, people will be watching. So I wouldn't want to say that INEC is on trial, but the entire world is looking at INEC. And I'm sure they know they have a credibility issue, and I believe they will get it right in Anambra. We're confident. And we are asking, you see, it is human beings that that conduct or operate any system. We are asking INEC staff, both the permanent staff and the ad hoc staff, to do the right thing.
Okay, now each time we talk about Anambra State, security comes up.
Yes.
And we have been told that police released that they have deployed 45,000 policemen, for the Anambra elections. And, in some quarters they say, are they not too much? While in all that, because already we have our own, vigilante and then local security and all these, which I know are not supposed to be a part of the elections. But do you think the 45,000 persons deployed is actually what Anambra needs at this point?
Let me just say, you said anytime you talk about Anambra, you think about
security. Yeah.
No. Anambra is for, anytime you think about Anambra, really, you think about this state that is confident of itself, commercially, in trade, in commerce, in industry, in leisure, and that kind of thing. That is what Anambra, they know Anambra people, at least from the commercial point of view. So it's not every time you talk about Anambra.
You talk about security.
But security is very important in any system, whether it is in any state, whether it is during election or not. This is an off-season election, as it were. And deployment of 45,000 policemen, it's important to put this in context. We have 5,720 polling units, You can do the maths and divide them and see, covering all these polling units, plus the collation centers and the rest of them. So many of them come here. They're not really, those of them in the polling units and the rest of them, they're just ensuring that things go smoothly. So that number is not excessive. We need to understand it. They are coming to help ensure that the process is free, without any issues of intimidation, rigging, and the rest. They'll just sit there. So the
they don't even have guns.
No. Those, if I'm sure you vote, the policemen at the polling units, do you see them carrying guns?
No, they're not armed.
So they're not armed. So that number, I wouldn't know whether it is adequate or insufficient or over, but I don't think it is overkill. Because you have to put it in the context of the number of polling units that they are having to, if you like, police, and ensure that there is peace and order across the state during the voting.
Okay. So let's quickly, the first question we asked you, when you came in was what people should be looking for, and you said they should look for your candidate.
Yes.
Now let's take a look at some of the things that he has done that will warrant people voting for him. Let's talk about infrastructure. How has it fared, making Anambra be what it's supposed to be, among the committee of equals?
Yes.
What has he done that will make me
We're
Saturday I'll
we're not going to be committee of equals. We're going to exceed.
Are you serious?
Yes. Anambra is going. Lagos normally calls itself state of excellence. I will call ourselves light of the nation. We lead and others follow, as it were. We are not a state. We are an estate. So we can't be, indeed you are saying the state of equal, whereas in some indices, for example, we are now first across the country in terms of fiscal sustainability and responsibility. So we're already leading. In terms of education, we are leading. The best school in the country is a school in Anambra, Walewo. The best school in performance of in science subjects, the last one, is a school in Anambra, a school in Ezewo Community School. So Anambra is already leading. We're not, we are competing against ourselves now. That's the point. Okay, so, and you're asking me what has the governor done in terms of infrastructure. Now, you live in this country, in this state, you live in Anambra. March 2022, we have a massive deficit in infrastructure. Roads were very bad and the rest of them. In this soccer, you could hardly pass Abakaliki Street, which is probably number 1 street, Obiokoli Street towards Y Junction, and the rest of what you may call the business district in Oka were just impassable. But today you go there, they've been fixed. And people have forgotten the way it was. But across the state, the governor has awarded more than 1,000 kilometers of road. And more than 800 have been completed, including dualization of major roads, which are even federal government roads. But because of their strategic importance in moving and connecting Anambra, he did them. So he has done very well. Nobody is arguing with him today on that. If you go to Onitsha, okay, how he has transformed Fege. I grew up in Fege, and for a very long time, the roads in Fege were not touched. He's done so much in Fege, and it's important to go through Port Harcourt Road, Zika Avenue, Mr. Limes, Greek Road, Niger Street, major arteries connecting. If you go to Ochenja, that was a heap of dustbin, okay, refuge dump. It's been transformed. I drove through there 3 weeks ago with my wife who just came to visit me, and she was screaming that, she lives in UK, and I said, let me just take you through some of, and she was saying, what? Because she also grew up in Onitsha. The transformation is amazing. Then you go to a place like Opoko. Quit, by the way, they said, don't call us Opoko again. No, that name is derogatory. We're now New Heaven. Okay? Done more than 18 kilometers of road there, street lights, pipe-borne water, a new general hospital in Opoko, a new general hospital in Onitsha South, Fege. I grew up in Fege. There was no hospital there. Even when I was born, there was no maternity or primary health center there. I think I was born in a year or so. So he has done all of this, a general hospital in Amako, Okay? So the infrastructure is there. And when we talk about infrastructure too, look at administrative infrastructure he has put in place. For more than 34 years, the state has no government house or government lodge. And people will be saying, why do you spend that kind of money? The seat of government, you are operating from a makeshift place for 34 years. Okay? Now, and what people don't understand is that your work environment improves your productivity. My office now, okay, set on 4 floors. Unlike before, we're operating in 5 porter cabins. Okay? I can see the efficiency, that the productivity that is going. Go there, this part of the state infrastructure. Okay? And then you're talking about, okay, he's also done this, the leisure, the Solution Fund City. You go there, you see every day, you see trickles of, then you go there on Saturday or Sunday. You feel happy. Sometimes I go there and just sit and watch how children are happy. These are things that, they prolong life, they contribute to mental well-being. They also even help children to achieve better in school. So people think it's just, when he was doing that, I said, why are you doing this? Why are you doing that? It's part of the one's well-being. It's part of your well-being, your health, your mental, and the rest of that. The fact that you have a place to go and relax and enjoy. He wants to build a prosperous,
green, clean homeland.
Yes, where individuals can come, work, invest, learn, relax, and enjoy. So that relax and enjoy is quite deliberate, because if you cannot relax and enjoy, you spend the whole day working and the rest of them, you come home and you need to be able to.
You likely break down.
Yes, you need to be able to.
Let's look at of course, Governor Soludo during the media round on Sunday evening.
Yes.
He spoke really very confident about that. But let's look at the talks on vote buying. He's actually defended that. I miss the fact that when you look at the Electoral Act, it seemed to actually go against that slightly. But he was very confident to say that he's not actually inducing the voters. He is very much encouraging the party stewards for the efforts they actually did make to reduce voter apathy. So 2 questions in one. How do you arrest this situation of, what's your take on that situation? And then 2, how do we arrest the situation of voter apathy? Are we looking to see the average Anambra or both residents and indigents actually coming out to vote on Saturday?
I think that is the point. Let me answer that question by using my ward as an example. Oruku ward. Okay, we have 8,505 registered voters. 8,505 registered voters. At the last governorship election, the whole ward did not cast up to 2,000 votes. Less than 2,000 votes. If I check the vote Abgal got, we won, but the vote Abgal got was less than 500 votes in a ward of 8,000 plus. Now, with the last registration, now we are up to 9,000. But what do we do to encourage people to come out to vote? And the governor said, you see, if you put this thing even in international context, where party members or volunteers are mobilized. I lived through UK for 32 years. And during the election, you see canvassers knocking on the door, putting leaflets through people's door, canvassing, asking you to vote. Sometimes you see the candidate coming in, as it were, to play, going around. These people, some are volunteers, but some are also paid agents to go and do this canvassing. So what Mr. Governor was doing was to encourage and incentivize, but I would say encourage the members of ABGA, not the voting public, to go out there, pull people out, and try to increase the voter participation from below 15%. Okay, Anambra has 2.7 million registered voters. The most we have done is about 500,000 voters. So how do you do this? You're encouraging people, your own party members, go out there, knock on the door, know your voters. Even do, this KYV, know your voter, knock on the door, know people who are still there in your wards, who are still able to vote, but may have health challenges. Is there a way of helping them on the day to come and vote? That is the challenge. So we are doing this mobilization. Every other party benefits from that. But the person who has done, we are hoping that by taking the lead, most of these people who are mobilizing will vote for us. What is wrong with that? That is what happens across the globe.
Okay.
Okay? Now, in some parts of the world, the agents or the volunteers are giving upfront. But here we're saying, you do that. But reading through the Electoral Act and the rest of that, we saw that there is a kind of, areas that what we are doing may not be consistent with. So he has put, I'm happy you listened to him on Sunday, where he clarified that. But it's, big chief making. I'll tell you, in election, the opponent will try to catch on something that they will use to make the other person uncomfortable. But we went through that because what we are doing, we are sure that what we are doing was done in good faith and the rest of it. And once that was drawn to his attention, he spoke. But we are still, on Sunday I was in my village, and we are still banging on doors, please come out and vote, and the rest of them. If you canvass somebody, the person is most likely to vote for you. Is that vote buying? No. So do you sit at home and then just on that day people come? How do people know that you have done well and therefore you are asking them to come out and vote for you again? When you do canvassing, you are knocking on the door, some people are asking you very awkward, very difficult questions. I know when I go to my village and they will put me to task. About a month ago, I was on a 2-hour online conversation with my community across the globe. I'm telling you, from Morocco, they put me on platform. And I had to explain this, explain that, explain that. And some people, and you have to take that. Some people will say, SAG, you've been there, what if you did not, and you can see where they're coming from. You address it. Some of them are people that you will never convince to vote for you. But the way, and I started reading the comments subsequently. We didn't know this, we didn't know that. People from my own community or Roku, we didn't know about this, we didn't know about. So that, I believe, I would have converted some people.
Okay, thank you very much. So now, the elections, the campaigns this period took some strange, strange colors recently, where we have communities voting for a candidate, especially your candidate,
yes.
And some other parties also had people voting for them, giving the voting money for them and contributing, distributing, So some people were of the opinion that this is strange. How is it going to positively affect this election? And they hope that it's not going to negatively also affect this election.
How can it negatively affect the election? You see, the governor said he was, when he started, that he's going to do an experiment, not necessarily a hypothesis, not an experiment, a hypothesis that good governance translates into political goodwill and capital. What you have found here is this. The governor, by all objective measures, have done quite well. very well in every facet. All the 5 buckets, they are touched on there. And he's also tried to...
What are these 5 buckets?
The 5 buckets, you have security law and order. You have economic transformation and infrastructure and economic transformation. You have environment, you have human capital and social agenda, and then you have value system and the rest of them. The issue of value system, all these warped ideology of Okita and the rest of them, try to re-engineer society as it were, social re-engineering. So he touched on all of them as it were. And as people, as he kept canvassing, and people, this man, you've done well. He's giving us a free education from nursery school to senior secondary school. He has given us free antenatal and free delivery for every person. He's fixing our public schools. He's fixing our public hospitals. He's fixing our roads. He's empowering our youth. The 1 youth 2 skills, empowered about 13 of them. He came in, ended an era of schools without teachers, employed 5,000 in the first 6 months, and within 1 year he's employed another 3,050, making it 8,115. And people are seeing all this, okay? And he's an ordinary person. He campaigns in the markets. They see him. I remember a woman looking at her, say, so you have Soludo, let me touch you. You are Soludo. You know, there are populist leaders. He's not a populist leader. He's a genuine person. The way you see him is the way he is. There's nothing, I'm telling you this because I work for the past 5 years plus now. I've been closely associated with him, not since he came into office. You know, you see somebody that is real. So what we are seeing here is that, and I had a picture with him, said, this is phenomenal. I said, yes, Mr. Governor, I'll tell you. My judgment is, this is people expressing appreciation for good governance.
All right, you were just talking about market women.
Yes.
And so let's talk about women and people with disabilities.
Yes.
Are there plans for these people? Because in 2021, there were talks about nursing mothers and wheelchair users standing for about 4 hours. And that's a lot. So are there plans, are there priorities to actually, take care of, people across the polling units in the state? Are there plans for these people?
Yes. What we are planning as a party, it would be nice if others do the same thing, that those with disability, when they come, we give them priority. Elderly people. This is Igbo culture, that the vulnerable, you show them, you take extra care of them. In my polling unit, once I'm there, because I vote and start monitoring what is happening across the something, if there are people, elderly people, people with disability, you have them. You have them. So where you have people standing on queue for 4 hours, that is, I'm hearing it for the first time. But if it happens, there is also a requirement, not just on those on the queue, but even on the INEC ad hoc staff, to say, oh, please, you are turn next, but let this mama or papa please let him come up. That is an Igbo way of treating people. We don't even need to, I don't need to come on television and start talking about it. It is ingrained in our culture, in our DNA as Igbo, as Africans.
Well, if you have just joined us, this is Good Morning Anambra, and we have been here with Professor Soluchukwu, who is the secretary to this government, or, secretary to the government of Professor Charles Soludo. And right now, we want to take a break. We just want to give you a message. When we'll return, we'll complete what we started. Please don't go anywhere. To have you back on this program where we're talking about Anambra, November 8th, gubernatorial election, what to look out for while voting. And we're here with the Director General of Soludo Ibezim Campaign Secretariat. He is also the Secretary to the State Government, Professor Solochukwu Lobelo. Yes, glad to have you here. And right now, something of concern, has appeared to me. A lot of people, remember, while trying to, contain the security situation of the state, which is actually going very well, the governor had to arrest some people who are into Okite. And then there was a time they went to Obusi and people knelt down and begged the governor and all these. He said, let the law take its toll. But then people are saying that this could reduce the votes that he will get from those, the communities where those native doctors come from. Aren't you worried about that, sir?
Why would I be worried that those that break the law are facing the wrath of the law? There may be a few people who are not happy, those that are profiting from those criminalities. But I can tell you, in communities where this has happened, people have breathed a big sigh of relief. So when you fight criminality, obviously there are people who, those that have been benefiting from it will not be happy.
Exactly.
You expect criminality to actually fight back.
Yes, they will fight back. But the generality of the people, remember that the essence of government is to do the greatest good for the greatest number of people. There will be a select few who will not be happy with that. But in time, some of them will convert. Some of these Okite people or people, I know that there are some people in the bushes that are coming out now, some Okite, and the governor is saying to them, come back, come out, we'll rehabilitate you, we'll train you, and give you something that legal, lawful means of earning a living. So I don't see where, and you need to be we need to know that over a long period of time, as in as it were, because this has extended for a long period of time, people have come to think that is the normal world. And if you don't deal with it, I'm happy the governor started with that. When we are drawing the Homeland Security Bill, which he actually cheered for more, I think almost 6 sittings. Some of the sittings going into early hours of the morning, 2 a.m., 3 because that was a very, very important piece of legislation. And he superintendent saw that every section of that, and that was what gave rise with that bill now, or with that law. Then we went after these people. So it's part of the social reorientation, the re-engineering of our social values. That, when I was growing up, what I used to hear that, this man, apatagego, in Igbo, for those who, apatagego, the concept of gathering. You gather, you are gathering gradually and become a wealthy person when you are apatagego. Yeah, what you hear now, obutego, and that kind of. So, and that was fueled by all these Okite people, Eze, Dibia, the rest of them, and encouraging them with all manner of charms. If you are shot at Odeshi, all these things, I'm doing all manner of charms. That had become a very, very twisted way of doing things. That's not Igbo land. That's not Anambra. So that's social re-engineering. And I'm happy that people are beginning to see, yes, this is the right thing. And people are saying, why did it take too long? Why did it take too long for this to happen? And we're also hoping that in time, this will begin to permeate. The younger generation now will grow up with a better value system, whereas the older generation who have come to say, well, I'm happy that this is now changing in their own lifetime, because there has been a kind of almost surrendering to the new value system, which is not ours. Okay. So I'm happy the governor took that up.
Then one other thing that your opposition uses as campaign strategies or campaign talking points is the fact that taxation, each time the governor talks about gathering money for or making money for the state, he says that when he came, even when you spoke about it, when he came, okay, it was
the last guest that said that. He also did talk about that during the
when he came,
media round.
he has actually beefed taxation, internally generated revenue. But then your opponent is using it against you, because what they say is that when Soludo comes the second time, if they vote for Soludo, that definitely when he comes, he will give you the tax that will clear your family and clear the whole state.
Well, the first thing we need to understand is that there is a social contract between the state and the people, where the state must provide services to the people, and where the people would support the government in providing those services. And how do people support the state in providing those services? It is through the contributions, the taxes they pay, as it were. So, and the issue here is not whether the state has the lawful responsibility to collect taxes. Sometimes it's the manner, and sometimes it is all these illegal people collecting money and saying it is the government that is doing it. Let me just say this.
So, see, adding to that, it talks about the illegal people. Because
yes, exactly.
So some persons will say, yes, they may be illegal people, but we have not seen a situation whereby this person is being caught by the federal government and
prosecuted.
No, we've had
prosecuted or punished.
I will tell you. I think...
Instead, we see them coming back to the street again, and this time probably being...
I'm not sure that is quite correct.
All right.
At the beginning of this administration, if you went to Onitsha, you have all these touts that were harassing people. What were they doing? Collecting illegitimate, illegal something. And that's why we set up SASA, the Special Anti-Touting Squad and the rest of them. And people are on the run, okay? People are on the run. The issue sometimes is what you may call, they call it multiple taxation, but it is a case of harmonizing taxes. There are taxes that the local government and the state government need to harmonize, so that if you take a business person, rather than local government come and collect this agency come and collect this, that agency come and collect this. Take a typical shop. They pay business premises. If they have signboard, they pay answer, they pay aswama, and the rest of that. It is more of people feeling their tax, but if you put it in one single harmonized bill, that harassment effect will go. And that's what we've already started doing, as it were. There are still a lot of illegal collectors there, and we catch them. We deal with them, okay?
Yes, we must agree with you that it has actually
it has reduced drastically. But the point is this too. I said this social contract between the state and the government. Anambra State under Soludo is developing using PPCP model, public-private community partnership, okay? The public has to get money to do its own bit, okay? The private are the industrialists, the private sector that are investing in industries and the rest of them. The communities are also supporting what the government is doing. Some individuals in their communities are building, constructing roads, constructing so and the rest of them. But if you look at the wealth of the state, if Anambra State is, for argument's sake, 3 trillion 1 trillion economy. 2% of the wealth of the state, indeed less than 2% of the wealth of the state is in the hands of the state government by way of its budget and the rest of them. This year budget is about 460 billion compared to the entire GDP of the state, okay? So the state is trying to do so much with little resources.
All right. And before you continue, you were just talking about the wealth of the state.
Yes.
I remember Governor Soludo was talking about increasing the IGR, you know, he was talking about the fact that monthly Anambra State gets about, in terms of intelligence, I think about between 4 billion and thereabout, and he's looking at increasing the IGR. Now, how is Governor Soludo looking to actually do this will I say, how best do I put it? In connecting with what you said earlier.
Okay, let me put it this way. There are a lot of areas of taxation, legitimate taxation, that people don't pay. There is this resistance across the globe. Nobody likes
paying taxes. True.
And nobody likes paying tax. Let me take a very important, a very simple one, tenement rate. I live in a house, I should pay tenement. Okay? If they give me my bill, I pay. If you don't give me my bill, a taxpayer will not go in saying, please tax me. So when the state now says, look, we need to improve our rate of collection and the efficiency of our collection, people who had never paid tenement rate in the past 10, 15 years will say, salute that beer. But that is a legitimate tax that they should pay, isn't it? Or else, where does the state get money to even fix the roads that go through that and the rest of that? Is it the fact from the resources of the state, of any state government, come from both the federal allocation and the money the state is able to generate within its own territory? And most states are, most states want to be able to generate enough resources within its state, within their state, to deal with their recurrent expenditure, so that the money that comes from the federal government can be devoted to capital expenditure. But where you are struggling to even generate, in economics, if you are not covering your variable cost in business, after a while you go out of business. So in the same way for the government, it's a case of collecting enough taxes internally to be able to deal with your recurrent expenditure. I'm hoping that you may even have a little bit left to add to what you get from federal government to be able to devote it to capital expenditure.
Is the state government looking at taking loans? Because of course they've tried and all that.
You can only take loan if you are very confident that you generate the revenue to be able to pay that. Okay. One of the things that kill any human being, I must say, state, is being overburdened. If you're highly indebted, you go to bed, you can't sleep. Some people have killed themselves because of being overborrowed. In the same way, if a state gets very overborrowed and you cannot service your debt, a situation of physical distress comes in. You can't pay your teachers, you can't fix your roads, you can't do this, you can't do that, because your creditors are chasing you. And they can sequestrate even the little money you have, put a lien on it, garnish it. So you need to be very, very...
We don't have much time, Your Honor, but before we go, you talked of you're confident?
Yes.
It's as if the election has held and...
No. The election
but then, somebody said yesterday that this election could spring surprises for people who are confident. Do you, have you ever thought about these springing surprises that could make you not to be the winner? Have you ever thought about that?
We will be the winner, but we're not taking anything for granted.
Not being complacent.
We are looking at where can we slip up? Where can this happen? We are, Anambra, we are not Chukwu, but as human beings, we have looked at, we are fighting as if we are the underdogs.
So are you looking at contending misinformation, disinformation, and hate speech? Finally, quickly, please.
Well, the misinformation, disinformation, hate speech. These are new things of social media and the rest of that. And we are very careful not to be sucked into that. If our opponent throws certain things to you, sometimes you either try to pull it down or bust it or respond in a manner that shows maturity. You don't want to be sucked into that. But it's a new, the social media has become a contested space where all manner of things go. Some truthful, but there is a lot of misinformation, disinformation, and this. So we are trying to also have presence there, ensure that people do not spread misinformation or disinformation against us, but we must respond in measured but appropriate manner.
Okay, finally, we all agree that in the past we have had voter apathy, no turnout of voters and all these, but then we are anticipating that people will come out in full swing to vote this time. So what message do you have to Anambra?
Well, the message is, yeah, and as encouragement, they have been encouraging Mr. Governor by the donations they're making. And I'm asking them that encouragement, let it translate into massive turnout on Saturday. And I'm very optimistic that Mr. Governor, we haven't talked about the next level, the next 4 years. Yeah. The next 4 years, the governor keeps saying that he's still pricing bean grains. And mama and akara, you're already hearing the aroma, okay? So and that is about the next 4 years. The next 4 years is going to be amazing. Deepening on what he's doing now, but also taking Anambra to the next level. Building Okap 2.0, the new city of Oka, the new city park. Building Onitsha 2.0, the mixed industrial use, export emporium, and a whole lot of other things. The Anambra Railway Master Plan, Anambra Master Bus Terminals, and the rest of them. The next 4 years is going to be very exciting, very amazing. And Soludo doesn't say what he doesn't intend to do.
Yeah. All right, let's bring this quickly, please.
Thank you very much. We want to round off, so please, thanks a lot for joining us. Remember, we've been talking about the November 8th gubernatorial election, what to look out for while voting. And here in the studios, we've had the honor of talking with the DG, the strong man, the DG of Soludo Ibezim Campaign Secretariat. He's also the Secretary to the State Government, Professor Soludo Chukwulobello. It's been a pleasure having you on the program.
Thank you, madam.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And from Obina, who wants to tease you? Just tease yourself.
Why don't skeletons fight themselves?
Are we off the, sorry?
Why don't skeletons fight themselves?
So on that note,
why don't skeletons fight themselves? I don't know. Tell me.
Because they don't have guts.
They don't have guts.
He woke up with this morning and he's asking everybody.
Well, because they are lifeless.
Yes,
they don't have guts.
They don't have any brain. They don't have any brain.
They're lifeless.
Yes, thanks a lot for joining me. My name is Ifeoma Chukwu. We're not done with you yet because we have Godwin
Nedum,
he won the Guinness World Record Pentathon for how many hours?
8 hours. Not
200 hours.
Sorry, 200 hours. Forgive me. That was about.
He has been verified that Anambra is their GOG. The whole world is standing tall for Anambra State because Guinness World Record has actually verified this guy from Anambra, from Oka here. He's going to meet the commissioner for don't know Nenji. He's the commissioner for
tourism and all that.
So you're going to meet him today.
So probably you also meet the SSG. Yeah,
probably. So Anambra is celebrating.
What did I tell you?
We are winners.
We are going up.
Yeah, so you meet him within the next few minutes. He's here in the studio. Thank you. We'll see you in a few minutes' time.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Can prevent it by not engaging in it because when spreading fake news and all those things is going to make the election not to come out well. The wrong candidates will be put in power and there will not be correct voting during the election. And I think there is need for proper orientation, letting people know the disadvantage of fake news, the negative effect of it as far as life is concerned. So I believe with proper orientation will go a long way.
Well, I say government has to be out properly. They have to be prompt to distribute information at any given time so that people may not be carried away by